You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and first-timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Bob Russo, Realty Masters and Associates. Welcome.
Welcome, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yes, Bob, there are no boundaries, and I've gotten in trouble a few times because of that. Let's take a look and see. I'm sorry, Nathan. Sorry, I got the name wrong here. Nathan Robbins. Let's take a look and see. What are we celebrating today? There's a lot to celebrate today, so I might have to take this in order just because I can't. Gummy Bear Day. Now, I don't want to cause any trouble here, but I enjoy gummy bears. I've beaten anorexia. Soaked gummy bears. Okay, we've tried that a little bit. It's, today's, Stagecoach is starting today. So I know we had a few gummy bears soaked in vodka for Stagecoach. I know that I've heard, and I don't know this one firsthand, I guess there are gummy edibles out there. Okay, that's a whole different area. I'm going to move right along, though, before I get in too much trouble. Babe Ruth Day. I saw this one. I was thinking candy bar. I don't know about Babe Ruth. I'm not a Yankees fan or Red Sox fan, either one. Tell a Story Day. We'll do that today. Take our daughters and sons to... I think we'll stop right there. I've got sons. Couldn't figure out how to get daughters. Not sure I could afford daughters. Look at Josh in the background. And Josh, your daughter's young too. Just wait. I will share with you that something that my parents told me. Little kids, little expenses. Bigger kids, bigger expenses. Just throwing that out there for you, just so you're ready. National Devil Dog Day. And, there's devil dogs. My son was referred to as a dirt dog when he was playing football. That was a whole different story. Devil dogs, looks like it's a candy of some sort. That one looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to open that up a little further and see what that's all about. A devil dog. It's like a couple of cake, devilish snack cake with some whipped cream in the middle. So think about Oreo cookie with snack cakes. Okay. And now you're reminding me, our friend over at the Tartan Room. Ever gone, Josh, you ever gone to the Tartan Room? Okay, because he's in Vegas, but I know he's in Orange County. Ever gone to the Tartan Room, Bob?
I haven't been there.
Okay. So it's a old-time restaurant right in the city of Orange, right over by the Ford dealer there. They make a great prime rib. Today's National Prime Rib Day. If I didn't have such bad problems with gout, I'd probably like to be going and eating prime rib today. But, I might have to take the bride over there and get a prime rib anyway. Hey, let's take a look at the markets, see what's going on in the markets today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 325 points. S&P 500 is up 50. The NASDAQ is up 210. Oil is up 52 cents per barrel, and the 10-year Treasury, that's up too. Generally, when the NASDAQ goes up, the yield on the 10-year Treasury does not. Why is all that happening? Well, it's one of the contra days. What is a contra day? Well, we got reports out today in the market and what's happening in our economics world. None of them were good. So GDP came out this morning. We were expecting 2% growth. We get a 1.1. That's not good. Ow! We're seeing that American Express delinquencies are up. Tells us that the people that have on the higher end of the food spectrum are not paying their bills. That's not good. Capital One's, their delinquencies are up. That's not good. 60-day lates on car payments are up. That's not good. So why would I say that all of these things are driving the market up? Well, it's the contra play. Now, we know that the Federal Reserve is intent on breaking our economy and putting us into a recession. So maybe this will let them know that they're doing a good job of screwing up the economy, right? I mean, I've talked to you about the Federal Reserve before. We've got their soundbite right here.
Such an idiot.
Yeah, they are. So you throw that in with, I'm going to go there, okay? So did anybody watch the president's press conference yesterday? Now think about this. President of the United States, leader of the free world. Now, if you zoom in, I didn't even need ChatGPT to tell me this. Zoom in onto his note card, and it says who the guests are in the audience. They had to put on his note card himself because he didn't know he was there. Then they say, okay, your first question is going to go to, and I forgot the lady's name, from the Los Angeles Times, and they put on there what the question was going to be. Now, if you're having a news conference and they're supposed to be asking you questions, problem there. Okay, take it one step further and zoom in on the president's head. Now, I've never seen this before, so if you've seen this, let me know. But the president had an earpiece in with a cord. Somebody was feeding him the answers for anything that might come up that he didn't know. Now, he's the president. He's supposed to know these things. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. Who's running the show? I know that there's going to be, what's the B one? Babylon B. I can just picture the satire comic coming out, the Babylon Bee with the earpiece in the president's head, and there's going to be some puppet strings going behind him. I can see it coming. I'm just throwing that out there. So, we're just watching these things. It is hysterical. Nathan, you've got some interesting stuff going on here. Yeah, I'm always looking for good sound bites, Nathan. I need these things. I'm slow. I'm not gonna even repeat this one. Okay, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're gonna chat with the coach. The 3 factors affecting home affordability today. Why today's foreclosure numbers are nothing like 2008. Aren't they? We'll chat about that. The ultimate mortgage refinance guide. Everything you need to know, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com. Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Equal housing lender. Do you know a homeowner experiencing...
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day.
ronismylender.com.
The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make a call, 800-306.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local
1990 every day at this time. OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Let's see what loans did yesterday. We don't know the APRs, how many points were paid or received to get these, but we know what the loans locked out because OBMMI, they tell us that. 30-year conforming loans locked at 6.404. These are averages. That was up a little bit. 30-year jumbo loans, 6.46. 30-year FHA loans, 6.38. 30-year USDA loans, that's 6.456. That's out in the rural areas, generally no down payment. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, that would be the 30-year VA loan. That was at 6.059. We had a clean sweep yesterday. Everything was up. So that's not always a pleasant issue, but you know something? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I just said that. Okay, so let's take a look and see what's happening today because that's all new. Yesterday's news. Well, the 10-year Treasury is up 7 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities are down 9. That means mortgages are going up. Not a whole lot, but they're a little bit. S&P 500, that was up 46.91 right now. What's driving all this? Because all that information is available on that super secret website, google.com. What's driving it? Okay, let's take a look. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing unemployment benefits for the very first time. Fell 16,230,000 people. Removing some of the noise, the 4-week moving average continues to be around 236,000. Continuing claims are those that continue to receive benefits after their initial claim fell 3,000 to 1.858 million. Shows us that the hiring has slowed down, but maybe it's just because people aren't willing to take the jobs that are there. Maybe I think that I'm worth $20 an hour and I'm worth 15. Some people say I'm not worth 15, but that's a whole different story. Pending home sales measures signed contracts in existing homes fell 5.2% in March, which was weaker than the 0.5% increase expected and follows a downward revision in January from 0.8% to flat. First month-over-month decline since November. Sales are now down 23% from last year, which is an improvement from 24% in the previous report. NAR's chief economist, quote, "The lack of housing inventory is a major constraint to rising sales. Multiple offers are still occurring on about a third of all listings, and 28% of homes are selling above list price. Limited housing supply is simply not meeting demand nationally," unquote. Current inventory levels, 200,000 fewer active listings than in November. Think the higher rates have anything to do with that? CoreLogic performance report. CoreLogic released their performance report insights for February, showing that overall delinquencies and foreclosure rates improved and remained near record lows. Remember, CoreLogic is always 2 to 3 months behind. Loans 30 days or more delinquent increased from 2.8% to 3%. Those 90 days or more remained at 1.2%. Loans in foreclosure were unchanged at near multi-decade low of 0.3%. I've got some local numbers that are saying they're actually going up, and that's real-time numbers, not CoreLogic, which is a little bit dated. Q1 GDP first reading. I like this one. This is the most important. They're going to revise it for the next 2 months, but it's pretty close. 1.1% growth. That's not good.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, the markets are expecting 2 to 2.5%. The Fed's estimate for the full year, 0.5. That means with a 1.1 in the first quarter, means they're planning on us going down even further. Nothing is coming out that's showing the economy strong except the comments from the president. But that's a whole different story. I think we know about the president right now. Oh, don't say that about the president. Come on now. You can't put that in there. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Nathan, no, the nation's credit rating is not going to drop. This is the same thing that always happens in Congress. They do nothing. The president does nothing. They'll get an agreement the night before they have to. You know, they started talking about this 5 weeks ago. They don't like to do things in advance, so they'll keep everybody longer. They probably won't go on one of their next vacations, which is pretty common, and they'll get it done at the last minute, so we won't see a drop in their numbers. So let's have a conversation today. We are chatting this morning. I got a sound bite just for you. He is the coach, Bob Russo, Realty Masters and Associates. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Ron.
So tell me, what kind of coach are you? Tell us a little bit about the coaching.
The coaching. Well, you know, I got my degree at Cal State Fullerton back in 1978 and was going to go teach and coach, but I got my real estate license when I was 19.
Wow.
So I've had it for 48 years right now.
48 years.
Yeah, 48 years in the industry.
So you're you don't even have to go through any more of the
I got
renewals or any of that?
I got one renewal this year, and then I'm done after 70.
Okay.
So
is it an age or time of service?
It's an age, I think.
Okay.
They told me it was 70.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm almost there.
I identify as 70 for certain things. Does that count?
That's
different story. Okay. So 48 years. So how does that tie into coaching?
Well, you know, my dream was always to coach. So halfway through my career, I met a good friend that was coaching over at Riverside Community College.
Okay.
I went over there and said, "Hey, can I help you out?" And became his assistant coach for 8 years, and then got the head coaching position for 6 years after that.
So basketball guy.
Basketball guy.
So you must be in heaven right now with all these playoffs going on.
Oh, Final Four was great this year. A lot of good games. And then the NBA Finals now. It's good to watch right now.
So are you still coaching?
I'm coaching my grandkids now. I got a first and second grade team, and I got a fifth and sixth grade team.
Bet they don't give you as much heartache.
Oh, no. Junior college basketball, that's like dog years, you know. I coached 144 years.
144 years right there.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, I get you. So 48 years in real estate, so you've seen a thing or two.
You know, when I started, prices, first track of homes I started was $44,000. You know, so I've seen the increase over the years.
$44,000.
Right. We're selling half acre horse ranches out at a community in Harupa Valley now. It was Mira Loma at the time, called Sky Country Homes.
Wow.
And we had 1,500 homes. That's how I started my career.
So what are those? Do you have any, just a guess? What are those selling for today?
Probably between 700,000 and 800,000.
700 to 800, and that was how long?
What's that? 75, almost.
Was it 1975?
Yeah, 75, almost.
Okay.
That's 48 years.
Think about that. I mean, if you bought that house back then at 44,000, you put 10% down, and I don't know in the 70s. I didn't get started to the 80s, so 44,000. Say you put 4,000 down, so you've got a $4,000 investment. That's now got you $650,000 in equity.
Amazing. You know, back then,
though, appreciation. You probably paid off your loan by then.
Well, you know, back then, mortgage financing was completely different. They didn't have FICO scores. You know, they didn't have. You know, everybody had 20% down. It seemed like.
Okay.
They didn't even have 95% financing.
But about 5 or 6 years later, maybe 8 years later, you had 18% financing.
We had 18% financing.
Unfortunately, that's where I got in.
And we had to get a little creative back then because we did a lot of CalVet loans at the time because rates were 5%, but and everything was 18%. So
what is a CalVet loan?
It's a California veteran loan, and basically it's a land contract. So it's a different thing that the state they have bonds and the for any California veterans. And it's a great program at the time because it took 9 months to get because they ran out of money and then they got money back.
Oh, sounds like the California Dream program.
Yeah. And so what happened was the developer carried the paper for that 9 months. And when the CalVet loan came through, we initiated that loan and closed the deal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've got a background in the creative financing.
Correct. AITDs, many things, because and that's the thing. Whenever you get into a bubble or high interest rates, you have to find some creativity out there to get your people qualified and get them into a home.
You must be laughing right now when people are saying 7% is a high interest rate.
Oh, I mean, we always said if it got down below 12, we'd all be jumping for joy.
Right. And now we look at some of the folks out there, I do, and you may have heard this before, but we've got our millennial and the old man. In fact, Josh, what is that? Monday we're doing millennial and the old man? Oh no, it's a couple weeks from now. Millennial and the old man. And you listen to some of the things that the millennials look at and they say, well, interest rates are at 3% or 4%, and now they're at 7% or whatever they are. I don't know what they are today, but wow, we got to wait for them to go down. They're way too high. Yeah. And you're probably just chuckling.
Yeah. It's all relevant though, because we had $44,000 homes compared to, income's up right now. People can qualify for more, but yeah, if they see an increase 1%, 0.5% in the interest rate, there's a transition period, going from 3 to 5. So there is a pause there because people mentally have to get used to that and get used to that new payment.
And there's a lot of changes in all these things. So we're watching all of them. And when we come back, I want to chat with you a little bit. I was on a call yesterday with a good friend of mine, and he was sharing the issue of home affordability. Where's that? What's that got to do with things right now? So we'll talk about that when we come back. We're going to also chat about why today's foreclosure numbers are nothing like 2008, all that and more. You can reach me anytime or off air. Number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, the best app on the market. Why? Well, because you can monitor your credit there. You can monitor your budget there. You can monitor your asset accounts there. You can monitor 97% of the homes available for sale all across these United States. And the very last tab, that'll actually even show you the value of your home. 4 different valuation models, 3 really good ones, and we give you Zillow also. So rsrmoney.com costs you nothing. Why today's foreclosure numbers are nothing like 2008? You've likely seen headlines about the number of foreclosures climbing in today's housing market. That may leave you with a few questions, especially if you're thinking about buying a house. Understanding what they really mean is mission critical if you want to know the truth about what's happening today. According to a recent report from Adam, a property data provider, foreclosure filings are up 6% compared to the previous quarter and 22% since 1 year ago. As media headlines call attention to this increase, reporting on just the number could actually generate worry and may even make you think twice about buying a home for fear that prices could crash. The reality is, while increasing, the data shows a foreclosure crisis is not where the market is headed. Let's look at the latest information with context so we can see how this compares to previous years. It isn't the dramatic increase headlines would have you believe. In recent years, the number of foreclosures has been down to record lows. That's because in 2020 and 2021, the forbearance program and other relief options for homeowners helped millions of homeowners stay in their homes, allowing them to get back on their feet during a very challenging period. And with home values rising at the same time, many homeowners who found themselves facing foreclosure under other circumstances were able to leverage their equity and sell their houses rather than face foreclosure. Moving forward, equity will continue to be a factor that can help keep people from going into foreclosure. As the government's moratorium came to an end, there was an expected rise in foreclosures. But just because foreclosures are up doesn't mean the housing market is in trouble. As Claire Trapasso, executive news editor at Realtor.com, says, quote, "There's no reason to panic, at least not yet. Foreclosure filings began ticking up after the federal foreclosure moratorium ended. The moratorium was enacted in early days of COVID-19 when millions of Americans lost their jobs to prevent a tsunami of homeowners losing their properties. So some of these proceedings would have taken place during the pandemic but got delayed due to the moratorium. Bit of a catch-up," unquote. Basically, there's not a sudden flood of foreclosures coming. Instead, some of the increase is due to delayed activity explained, while more is from economic conditions. As Rob Barber, CEO of Adam, explains, quote, "This unfortunate trend can be attributed to a variety of factors, such as rising unemployment rates, foreclosure filings making their way through the pipeline after 2 years of government intervention, and other ongoing economic challenges. However, with many homeowners still having significant home equity, that may help in keeping increased levels of foreclosure activity at bay." To further paint the picture of just how different the situation is now compared to the housing crash, take a look at the graph that Josh is going to show you if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, or ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. It shows foreclosure activity has been lower since the crash by looking at properties with a foreclosure filings going all the way back to 2005. Take a look at that chart. Here's the issue. It's math. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. While foreclosures are climbing, it's clear foreclosure activity now is nothing like it was during the housing crisis. In addition to all the factors mentioned, that's also largely because buyers today are more qualified and less likely to default on their loans. Today, foreclosures are far below the record high number that was reported when the housing market crashed. If you go from 5 foreclosures to 8 foreclosures, that's a 37% increase. Still very low, but it is a 37% increase. What do you think the media is going to tell you? Oh, there's a 37% increase in housing foreclosures. They're not going to say it's still record lows. Think about that part of it. Who's being foreclosed upon? That's the question. Well, the ones that are being foreclosed upon are those that bought last year. Why? Because they did it with next to no money down in many cases, and it's harder to sell them now because of affordability. Right? If you bought a house in 2021 or late 2021 or early 2020, you paid over market and you got a loan at 2, 3, 4% interest. Now that interest is 6, 7%, maybe even more. And the affordability is not there for the resale. Those are the ones that will go to foreclosure or short sale. If you bought in 2019, you made bank in 2020 and 2021, you've got equity. If you get your head out of the sand, don't go there. Right? If you get your head out of the sand and call a professional realtor, or give me a call at 800-306-1990 and I'll put you in touch with one, capture some of your equity and move to something that's maybe more affordable to you. Bottom line right now, putting the data into context is more important than ever. While the housing market is experiencing an expected rise in foreclosures, it's nowhere near the crisis levels seen when the housing bubble burst. And that won't lead to a crash in home prices either. They're not going down anytime soon. There's not enough of them to go down anytime soon. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. If you need help with any of these things, call us, 800-306-1990. I have a bank of realtors who will help you. I have investors that'll buy your property. It's solutions is what we have at Ron Siegel Radio. Continuing our conversation, Bob Russo is with us. We've got his theme song going. Realty Masters and Associates. You've seen all these things before.
Seen them many times.
Right? I mean,
many times.
48 years in real estate. You've seen multiple recessions. Prices going
bubbles.
up. Multiple bubbles.
Yeah.
Prices going up. Prices going down. In the recessions, prices go, real estate values up or down?
It'll depend. Okay. And you never want to see things going up really fast because it been in this for so long, it's going to come back down or level out or pause. It gets to a point where if it goes up so high, then how deep is it going to go on either way?
Think about, my opinion, the worst investment you can possibly make. Okay. I would say arguably Bitcoin, right? It went up to $60-some thousand a coin.
Right.
And when the market corrected, it went down to, I think, 19,000.
Yes.
Right. And I'm not an investor in Bitcoin, but you always look at these things. You say that which goes up like a rocket ship,
Right.
it may come down like a rocket ship also. Right. And real estate values went up 20% a year. That wasn't healthy.
No, it was not healthy because you like some stability. And when it does that, it's just a matter of time because you price everybody out of the market.
Right. And so you start looking at these affordability issues, and that's where some of the problems come.
Yeah.
Right. So if you bought that house, we'll just go back to your model there at 700,000, right? And you did that and you bought it at 3% last year or 4%, whatever your number was. And today you're looking at I don't remember what we said that the rates locked at yesterday, 6.4, right? You've doubled your interest rate, more than double.
It's amazing.
That's going to hurt your affordability.
It is.
Right. So there's going to be that's going to make a smaller market. But if you've got that 3.3% or 4%, unless you've got one of the D's, right? The diplomas, diamonds, diapers, death, divorce, or default. Unless you have one of those,
Right.
you're not selling.
Everybody's staying where they're at right now, unless they want to move out of state. There's not a lot of move up buyers because of rates.
So the whole concept right there, that's going to end up keeping the values high because you've got people that are still creating households. There's still people that are having babies, right? So if they're still having babies, they need a house to put them in,
Exactly.
And it costs a little bit more than the tent down there in Santa Monica, right? I mean, so the bottom line here is, those people want a house. So if you've got that foreclosure, they're gonna be dealing with that. Now, I'm just throwing in some numbers into one of my handy dandy calculators right here. So that's $700,000 house. If it's a $700,000 loan, 3%, you're looking at $3,027 principal and interest. 6.4, it's gone up to $4,378. That's about a 50% increase. Did your income go up 50%?
And that's the problem, Ron, right there, because the income is not keeping up with the rents or the payments right now.
Right now. And then you got eggs prices went up, gas prices went up. So we still need to eat. So there's the demand, the supply side of real estate is not growing.
No.
Right. Even though now you're in some areas where I drove out to Murrieta yesterday.
Right.
And I actually did see some land.
Oh,
right. I go down to Newport Beach. There's no land. It's a concrete.
Right. And that's where the expansion goes. The progress goes. When I started, it was LA to Orange County, then Orange County to Corona, then the Inland Empire. And, went out to Temecula, Murrieta, the areas that you're talking about right now, and watch that growth area. Menifee right now is in the top 10 in the growth area in the country right now.
Do you think it's going to stay there as interest rates have gone up?
It's affordable.
Okay.
I mean, first-time home buyers. I mean, Orange County is tough for a first-time home buyer right now.
At $1,032,000 median household price.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the trade-off is a commute. I mean, that's, one of the big things that people are, it's a quality. You're getting a 60, 70-year-old home in Orange County compared to out in the Inland Empire where you can get a brand new home.
So there's benefits to that.
There definitely is benefits.
So the biggest question, though, and especially being that you're coaching first and third graders,
first and second graders,
first and second.
Yeah.
So the trade-off, though, is if mom or dad or both are having to commute, are we getting multi-generational houses?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I think you're seeing two-family houses are going to be very, very popular. I think developers are going to start going to that because affordability, even for my kids and the young people out there right now, and working both. So it gets back down to the quality of life too.
Okay. We're going to talk about that more when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. More with Bob Russo, 48 years in real estate, and grandpa of how many?
5
grandkids. We skip the kid generation. I've got one grandchild. We skip the kids. We just go right to grandkids. Okay, we'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. March Madness might be over, but the game is still on for home buyers. Don't let misrepresentation of home appreciation outlook get you down. The FHFA says that despite the Fed doubling interest rates, home prices are just down less than 1% from their peak last June. What are you waiting for? It's time to shoot your shot and start your home buying journey with RSRmoney.com. They will guide you through every step, making the process as smooth as a three-pointer. Visit RSRmoney.com now and make your dream home a reality.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I think we're going to skip Your Credit Matters segment today, Josh. We'll just say Your Credit Matters is brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. They all are wrong. I've been looking at credit. I told you I helped the first family I helped was in 1983. I've been looking at credit reports for a very long time. I haven't seen one that's completely accurate. It's 834 is the highest FICO score I've seen, and there were errors on that report. 834. 850 is perfect. Gentleman asked me why he didn't have a higher score. He was in his 90s doing a 30-year loan. I said, you're probably not going to pay off this loan. So maybe there is a little risk in it. Just throw that out there. Your Credit Matters, again, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Continue our conversation, chatting this morning, Bob Russo, Realty Masters and Associates. Chatting about, before the break, we were talking about, the trade-offs and the costs for people. And the fact of, when I was young, it was a long time ago. So I had an aunt that moved from Anaheim, West Anaheim. Anaheim Hills was hardly even here. I mean, the hills were here, but the houses weren't. And she moved to Corona, and it was like, you had to take a suitcase to go see her. Now you look at, and I went to Murrieta yesterday just for a meeting and thought nothing of it. I left after the broadcast. I was there for lunch. I was home before dinner. No big deal. Because the freeways and infrastructure there. People are doing that every day now for work. And we were talking with Bob about the idea of, maybe are we going to multi-generational housing? And, I'm not talking about ADUs. I'm talking about you've got land out there, Bob, that people can actually build on. And, you said you've got 5 grandkids. Maybe you've got some of the kids want to move in with you, right? And
just the grandkids. The kids can stay on their own.
There you go. I agree with you.
That's it.
Yeah, grandson, come with us and leave mom and dad. Let them go out to dinner themselves. I'm going to have to try that one. Next time they call and want to go Taco Tuesday, I say, why don't you guys go to Taco Tuesday and drop the baby off with us?
That's it.
Yeah, that would work even better.
Perfect.
But what I want to get to is, earlier in the broadcast, we're talking about the cost of permits and how expensive they are. So if I go and buy, and I don't know, maybe a 2,500 square foot house, right? And say that's perfect for a single family. And maybe if I had in-laws, if I wanted my in-laws or parents, if any of them were alive anymore, it would be great. They'd move in with us. And maybe now we need a a 3,500 or 4,000 foot house. And you know these things way better than me because I've never done any of the building stuff.
Right.
Is there a significant difference in permitting costs? You know, the upfront cost to build that 2,500 versus maybe a 4,000?
You know, there's not that much more, per square foot. You know, architectural fees might be a little bit more, but your basic fees are going to be the same.
Part that goes to the city and county and state.
You know, if it's 60, 70,000, you know, it might be $5,000 more, $10,000 more, somewhere in there, but it's not significant.
As opposed to having to build two houses that are each, you know, smaller, then each one of them is going to have that 60 or 70,000.
Exactly.
Right. And, you know, you're talking about the quality of life. I'm going to suggest now, you know, it would have been difficult for me to live with my in-laws. I know it was difficult while we were doing some construction on a house for my wife living with my parents, because we've done them. You know, if you get used to that kind of living, it, you know, in Asia, that's common life.
A lot of European countries, it's common life. You know, everybody lives together, lives in the same area, lives in the same place. I think what's happening right now, though, I think we're getting put into a position, especially for the younger kids, that they're not going to have a choice.
Right.
You know, you just went over those payments, you know, $1,300 extra right there. Well, that's a lot of money, you know, every month coming in. So, you know,
then you start saying now I understand. I haven't looked at this, but I understand it's like $2,000 or $3,000 a month for daycare.
It's over the top right now.
Right.
You know, that's why my kids recruit me to live by them closely, because they politic us to babysit every day. No, but
if they're driving from the Inland Empire areas, you know, Menifee you were talking about earlier,
right,
and maybe working in Orange County or LA County, they're spending an hour and a half on the freeway.
They are, but we are seeing the industrial base moving out that way right now, around March Air Force Base, all of 215, 15, that whole area. It's in a big growth mode, especially industrial and commercially. So you're seeing a lot more jobs. You know,
jobs are migrating.
Jobs are definitely migrating in the areas.
So you've got so that's an interesting point right there, because those sound like more blue collar jobs, right?
They are.
You know, a lot of the white collar jobs have gone virtual. So you can be out there and enjoying the quality of life. Think about that. I mean, if you're spending, you know, $3,000 a month on a house, because I didn't even put into my spreadsheet that, you know, into the pricing that I just looked at, you know, you can buy a house, I'm assuming, out in Murrieta area for $700,000.
Oh, with no doubt.
Right. And you got the Orange County median is over $1 million.
Yes.
So now just look at that, take that number and throw that into the mix. You know, at $1 million at that, you know, 6.4%. And now you're talking about a whole nother ball game, you know, as far as quality of life. What can you do?
Right.
And those are big things, because it's, you know, how do you put your kids into Little League, put them into football? Because those are all expenses.
They are. And those extra expenses, you know, it gets back down to, I always told young people, you don't want to be a slave to your house payment.
There you go.
You definitely don't want to be a slave to your house payment, because there's more to life than the house payment.
So I just threw that into my numbers machine here. And again, I'm just using 6.4% because that's what OBMMI locked at yesterday. I don't know what you would qualify for, right? But you're looking at $1 million loan at 6.4% is $6,255 a month plus taxes and insurance, right? So you got another $1,000 just in taxes and insurance on that, right? So think about that. You know, then you want to put your kids in daycare. There's a big thing to be said about taking a look at the Inland Empire.
There's no question.
I hope my kids aren't listening to this, because I want them close to me. I don't want them to be recruited.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. You know, again, it's a priority. You know, and families involved. You know, the multi-generation things in Orange County could work too, especially with ADUs.
You go. Yeah.
I mean, so there's many different solutions out there. And, you know, I'm not trying to compare Inland Empire, but, you know, price wise, there is a comparison, because I just sold a $1 million listing that I had in Lake Forest that was built in 1975, a 1,500 square foot home for $1.1 million.
1,500 square feet for $1.1 million.
Right. In Lake Forest. And then you go to the Inland Empire, and what you could get for that in the Inland Empire, in the Murrieta, Menifee area, or anywhere in the Inland Empire, you're going to double the square footage at minimum, and
Wow.
and land the whole thing.
So if you could survive at that 1,500 and buy that out in the Menifee and Murrieta area, right? You might be going on more vacations.
Little league, enjoy your kids a little bit more. You don't have that pressure.
And there's a big issue right there, right? It's the pressure as well.
Yeah, I mean, you outgrow a 1,500 square foot home real quick.
Absolutely. So think about these concepts, and I don't. Why do I bring this up? Why do I talk about these issues? Well, it's just open your eyes, right? We started doing the radio broadcast in 2010 with the idea of educating. Now, some people may not even have their eyes open to Murrieta. It was a little warmer out there yesterday. I mean, it gets warm. It was a little over 90 degrees measured on the car when I was driving there. So
it gets warm. You do have the weather,
but you can go over to Temecula and get some wine.
You know what? They started when I first moved out there. I moved out to Canyon Lake in 1979, and I think Temecula had one winery.
Wow.
And there was nothing between Lake Elsinore and Temecula at the time. Murrieta wasn't even thought of. Menifee wasn't even thought of. And so you see that progression, and if you want to stay ahead of progress, you have to move. The old saying was you moved every 25 years. And that's about right.
So just moving into different areas. Now, if you're thinking about moving, give us a call, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with agents that can help you. Maybe you're looking to relocate. I know a lot of people that are in Orange County now, they're looking at relocating and retiring into the Coachella Valley. Right. I mean, they might not want to be there this weekend. The last two, I think, have been pretty active there with the festivals. But think about this: sell that property. Don't go and pay cash for the new house. I know it sounds self-serving, but don't go pay cash for the new house. Think about it. If you're of age, reverse mortgage is a great product. Right? My parents had it; they loved it. And I'm not old enough for it yet, Bob. So, but I mean, think about that. I mean, you sell that 1.1 million. If they had that paid off, who knows what they did? But think about that, and you have $300,000 to put down. You get a $600,000 house, roughly, right, and not have a payment for the rest of your life. And now you've still got about $800,000 left in the bank.
You live comfortably the rest of your life,
right? Making 6%, and we've shown you how to make 7, 8, 9%. But let's just say 6%, 800,000. That's about $4,000 a month.
Yep.
Right, and you never touch the principal.
No, you live off of that.
Right, that your Social Security,
your
retirement money.
You're good to go.
Right, it's all planning. A lot of people don't even think about the idea of about getting involved in planning for all these different things.
No.
Right, you said 25 years, so. That's that. You got some time to plan.
You do.
So we got to talk about affordability and quality of life. Is there anything that you see if I were to move, and I'm 60, so if I moved from Orange County to go out to Murrieta, and you've done this, right? So you're in Orange County and you moved out. Anything you miss?
No, you're usually depending on the time of traffic, you're only an hour away. I could get to.
That was 55 minutes for me to get back.
I can get to any beaches. I can go to the San Diego beaches. I can go to the Orange County beaches. I can go to the mountains. I mean, recreational wise, I'm still good.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit longer drive, which is not a problem. And but
you're at Canyon Lakes. You got it made.
Yeah,
you got the water right there.
I got it right there.
What does property sell for in that area?
You know what? It depends because you have waterfront properties.
Okay.
Which are $1.5 million up, probably, depending on where the your dock is. They have an east bay, and then they have the main lake type thing, where people have their docks and everything. And then you're probably starting maybe around 500,000 up for the ones that are off the lake.
Okay, so
yeah,
and even the ones off the lake, how long a drive or walk or bike ride is it?
There's about 5,000 homes in there right now.
So it's a big development.
Yeah, it's a big development. It's a big community. There's about 14 miles of shoreline.
Nice.
Water ski, wakeboard, do all that good stuff.
Sounds fun.
I don't do that anymore, but my grandkids and my kids do that.
So they come visit you to do that.
I do the kayak now.
Kayaks are fun.
And the paddle.
Stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There you go.
The slow stuff, Ron.
Something, I'm into slow.
Yeah, that's
At
right.
my size, I don't move fast anywhere. Hey, but that's if you want more information about this, give us a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something,